ready. Green, green, green.
These drivers put on a great show on every type of track. Driving these cars, banging off of each other.
Oh, he gets sideways. He's off the racetrack.
There he goes, trying to make the pass. If you're a driver trying to get in, you get little opportunities like that. Watch how hard these guys are going to drive.
Checkered flag in the air.
Checkered flag there, champion.
And the 2013 season about to kick off for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East with the Drive4COPD 125. 125 laps around this historic racetrack. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Derek Pernissiglio covering all of the action of this season opener from Bristol, Tennessee. 70 degrees, calm winds, partly cloudy skies. We take a look at our 2012 championship standings. Kyle Larson, the defending champion, won't be in any of the races this year. We go down to pit road and our pole winners with Derek Pernissiglio.
Well, with only 4 career starts under his belt, youngster Michael McGuire takes the pole here at Bristol. And Michael, were you as surprised as everyone else to be fast qualifier?
Yes, sir. We were very surprised. You know, we didn't come into this race with high expectations, but we ended up being on the pole, and this is our first pole sitting. So, you know, we're all really excited and just hope to make it to the halfway point and adjust from there and contend for a win.
You've only got a handful of starts, but every time you've run, you've been competitive. What is the realistic goal for today?
The realistic goal today for us is just a top 10 finish. You know, we'd like to shoot for top 5, but we're just going to try to make it to the halfway point with water still in the radiator and adjust from there and try to contend for a win.
Keep an eye on Michael McGuire. He was fast all weekend, and he finished in the top 10 last year.
Phil, what's the 17-year-old have to do to get that top 10 finish?
Well, experience certainly is going to play a factor here, and he does have experience. He actually ran this race and finished 8th last year. You want to be in the right place on the restarts, and pretty much it's going to be on the outside is where you want to be on the restarts, and you want to stay off pit road. We're going to have a break about lap 70, but otherwise stay clear of pit road.
Those are our spotlights. We'll keep an eye on them as the race progresses. Again, 125 laps for these drivers. They're all strapped in. When we come back, the green flag flies on the 2013 season. And welcome back. Cars are rolling around this half-mile concrete oval. Let's go back to an established racer himself, Derek Pernissiglio.
Well, with the start of a new season always brings a lot of excitement and unanswered questions, like who's going to win the first race of the season, who's going to be the breakout star, and which rookie is going to rise up above all the others. There's 22 of them in the field today, and of course, who's going to be the odds-on favorite for the championship? Kyle Larson is gone and moved on to the Nationwide Series, which makes the title up for grabs, and we're going to find out who the contenders are going to be today at Bristol.
Thanks, Derek. Take a look at our starting lineup. Michael McGuire brings the field to the green flag today. That young man will have Dylan Presnell outside of him.
You see Jesse a little back in the 4th position. He had to go to a backup engine, and it lost a lot of practice time, but great qualifying effort for Jesse.
11 drivers will be making their first ever start in the K&N Pro Series East. So a young, inexperienced field here at Bristol.
Yeah, among those, Greg Galding, who had a great 2nd place finish at the Battle at the Beach at Daytona last month.
Martin Waugh back there starting 31st. Green flag comes out. We're underway.
We see Michael McGuire did choose the outside. Dylan Presnell very, very quick on the start, though. McGuire's going to fight back on the outside.
Side by side, the two race into turn number 3 on the inside. Still that 26 of Dylan Presnell. The outside, our pole winner, Michael McGuire, coming off of 4. McGuire's going to lead lap 1.
Remember, the outside has a little bit more banking, about 28 degrees on the outside, 24 down at the bottom.
A lot of banking here at Bristol that they'll be leaning on all day. So it is Michael McGuire out front. Presnell trying to hold off. Ben Kennedy making the move on the inside.
Yeah, great run through the center of the corner for Ben Kennedy. He is able to stay up side by side with Presnell in 2nd.
So Michael McGuire out in front, the 17-year-old, talking about trying to get a top 10 finish here, looking very strong early.
See Dylan Kwasniewski, the 98 car on the bottom right now in the 4th position. Ooh, a little contact with the 97 of Jesse Little.
And now Little making his way onto the outside, trying to get by that 98 of Dylan Kwasniewski.
See, Brett Moffitt, the 11 car, gets a pretty good run off the exit on number 2, pulls up beside Jesse Little, side by side off of 4.
And here comes Ryan Gifford in that 2, looking to the outside of the 11 of Brett Moffitt.
Well, it's almost like super speedway racing when you get hung down on the bottom.
Getting hung down on the bottom right now at Bristol is the wrong place to be. Moffitt trying to hold off the 2 of Ryan Gifford. Right behind him, the 4 of Brian Ortiz looking for an opening.
Yeah, Ortiz is going to try to take advantage of that outside line, and he's got it right now. He's dead side by side with Moffitt.
The higher line working here at Bristol early.
Caution on the racetrack.
And this one early, we see the 80 of Blake Jones having a little fire come out of the back of that race car.
Yeah, it looks like Blake lost an engine. Tough break for him this early in the race. Blake started in the 27th spot.
One of the difficult things will be the restarts here at Bristol, and we're going to have one early. The drive for COPD 125 is underway, but under caution. We'll be back for the green flag. Side once again. Dylan Presnell will be on the inside. Michael McGuire on the outside. Once again, that's where he chose to start for the opening green flag. We'll see how it works on the restart. Green flag back in the air. Michael McGuire with a great restart.
It allows Dylan Kwasniewski to pull side by side with Presnell in a battle for second.
We talked about early that outside line, the preferred line here at Bristol early, and it looks as though it's going to work for Kwasniewski as he's able to get by Presnell. Here comes the 11 of Moffitt, also trying to get by Presnell.
Before that caution, we saw the 11 of Moffitt stuck down on the bottom, losing positions. Now he's on the high side, gaining positions.
Michael McGuire out in front. Dylan Kwasniewski, the West Series champion from a year ago, on the outside running second.
Great side-by-side battle. Bidden Kennedy in the 96 car on the outside. Presnell the 26 on the inside. That's the 97 of Jesse Little and the 4 of Ortiz right behind him. Jesse Little jumps to the inside.
Now trying to make that inside line work. Will it work for Little? He stays to the inside. Presnell on the outside. Those two side by side as they enter one.
A little less banking down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Hard to get down on the throttle. You don't have enough room to move up to the outside wall to use all the racetrack when there's somebody above you.
And Phil, the other thing that these drivers have to deal with is a nationwide race was just run here at Bristol, so there's a different rubber compound on the track.
Yeah, 300 laps of Goodyear radial rubber on the racetrack, and these guys are on the Goodyear bias ply tires.
So a little bit different compound that they'll have to deal with as well at the start of this race as we're going on our 20th lap here, and out in front still Michael McGuire, but a great battle. Presnell and Little making the move, and Presnell slow onto the apron.
See a little bit of smoke out of Presnell's car. Obviously he knew something was going on even before he pulled off the racetrack. It looked like there was a little bit of smoke.
So the driver starting on the front row, now on the apron, and will go to the attention of his crew on pit road.
Remember, even if this is not terminal, as we watch Michael McGuire continue to lead here, he's going to lose at least 2 laps but coming down pit road.
One of the spotlights you mentioned earlier, you don't want to go onto pit road, especially in a green flag situation.
This is one of the things you want to do, though, is be out front leading this race like Michael McGuire's doing.
Getting to choose his line around this racetrack, and right now he's got the fast line. Michael McGuire has led all 22 laps of this 125 lap race. As you mentioned earlier, we will have a mid-race break around lap 70, so Michael McGuire out in front early. Looking back in the pack, Greg Galding in the 20. That 15-year-old looks like he's holding his own. Derek.
Pretty strong run right now in the early going for Greg Galding. He started 13th. He is currently up to the 9th spot. He's hoping to build on his momentum from the last 2 races. He finished 6th at Phoenix, and of course he finished 2nd in that wild finish at Daytona.
Yeah, Derek, I think they have done a great job marketing, especially for a 15-year-old. He has donuts and chocolate milk as his sponsors.
I don't know how he get any better than that. But he's doing a great job on the racetrack, too, Rick. As Derek mentioned, great run at Phoenix. He ventured out there to run the West Opener, as well as that great finish at the Battle at the Beach, finishing 2nd.
Yeah, at Daytona, every driver that was there were so impressed with being able to run at Daytona on the high banks there at Daytona. Even though it was the backstretch, they still have that memory.
I wouldn't necessarily call it the high banks because it was pretty flat on the backstretch.
But they were able to run at Daytona. Take a look at Dylan Kwasniewski as he makes the move now by one of the slower lap cars. That's Ray Cordomanche.
Dylan right now running in the 2nd spot. This is one of the Turner Scott Motorsports teams. They've moved into the K&N series. Mike Gricci, who ran MWR's K&N program for 2 years with Ryan Truex, winning 2 championships, has his operation up now. They have 4 cars here right now. Dylan, obviously the top running of those, running 2nd.
And you mentioned earlier experience at Bristol. Well, you bring in a guy like Gricci. He gives experience to a Dylan Kwasniewski who's never been to this racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. Probably had never even seen this racetrack other than on television, and doing such a super job here. Great side-by-side action here. You see there's Tyler Reddick in the 52 car. That's Kenny Schrader's car on the outside, that Y car. That's Chad Fincham, the 37, leading that group.
Cole Custer in the 00 on the bottom of the racetrack.
The 6 is Daniel Suarez. That's actually the K&N champion team from last year, Rev Racing, the 6 car that Kyle Larson drove.
Chad Fincham still holding off that 6 of Daniel Suarez. Still looking at the inside, the 00 of Cole Custer.
Oh, Fincham looks like he cuts down a right front tire, makes contact with the outside wall.
A lot of sparks coming out from the right side. I think you're right, Phil. A right front tire gets cut down, and Fincham into the wall hard. That will bring out our second caution.
See all the damage to the right front of that 37 car. Ooh, it's our leader. Michael McGuire's turned around.
McGuire gets turned around and stopped on the inside barrier.
As the field goes by, you see him trying to refire the car right now.
He had to have had some help, Phil.
Without a doubt, and the caution flag was definitely out.
So Michael McGuire backing that car back up. Looks as though he's going to try to get it rolling once again. It's still running.
You see a little bit of damage to that left rear quarter panel. Undoubtedly, somebody got into the back of him.
When this caution came out, because the caution came out for Fincham getting into the wall, maybe when he slowed down, yeah, there's a little damage to the back of that car. Let's take a look.
Here's Fincham now. Watch, he's going to go down in the corner here, and he's going to lose that right front tire. There it is right there. You see the sparks. He makes contact with the outside wall.
So while Fincham gets into the wall and slow on the racetrack, the caution comes out. Taking a look now at Michael McGuire. Sure enough, the 0 of Enrique Contreras gets into the back of the 7 and spins him.
Well, McGuire does a nice job keeping that car out of the outside wall. You see the damage on the hood of Contreras' car.
So Contreras into the back of our race leader, gets him turned around. You see Brandon Jones in the 33. He comes to pit road.
They're going to make some adjustments. They're taking a little bit of tape off. He's running a little bit hot. You know who his crew chief is? Cale Gale, who won our finale at Homestead last year in the Camping World Truck Series.
That's right. Cale Gale, a lot of experience there on the pit box.
Look at all
Jones.
the track position, though. Michael McGuire lost. He fell from the lead to 28th position here. Boys, you're going to have to play catch up now.
And you've got to maintain a cautious pace. That's the reason why he can't just get his spot back. We saw that he was spun by the 0, but he's got to maintain a cautious pace. He wasn't able to do that, so he slots into 28.
Yeah, even though it was absolutely not his fault, he still has to pay the penalty.
Enrique Contreras, NASCAR said rough driving. That'll put you on pit road for a little penalty. Dylan Kwasniewski chooses the outside line. Brett Moffitt on the inside. They're your front rows. We're getting ready for the green flag. It's back in the air. We're back underway.
Great start by Kwasniewski. Clears Brett Moffitt.
And Moffitt quickly moves to the high line, knowing that that's the quick way around here. The 97 of Chad Little just behind him.
See a little speed zorb still on the racetrack there from Chad Fincham's car.
Ryan Gifford on the outside. Working the inside. The 96 of Ben Kennedy.
See Ortiz, the 4 car, trying to look at the outside of Kennedy. There's Greg Gaulding, the 20 Krispy Kreme car right behind him.
Greg Gaulding trying to find a way around that 4. Looks like he's going to go to the outside line. Doesn't make it work. Still a good battle right here in front of him. 96 of Ben Kennedy on the high side. The 4 of Brian Ortiz down low.
Yeah, Ortiz looks to the inside of Kennedy. Ortiz had a great season last year in his debut in the K&N series.
Ortiz with the best finish of 3rd a year ago at Bowman Gray. There's another tough racetrack to try to handle.
You could put 2 Bowman Grays inside of this racetrack.
And Ortiz able to clear the 20, but now Greg Gaulding looking at the inside, going to try to make that inside line work. It hasn't worked yet today.
Really tough to make it happen down there in the inside. About 4 degrees less banking than on the outside.
Ben Kennedy now giving chase to Ryan Gifford just in front of him.
Good run off the corner for Greg Gaulding there at the exit of 2. You see Ortiz get a little bit loose.
Out in front, Dylan Kwasniewski. After the problems with Michael McGuire in the 7, Dylan Kwasniewski gets the lead on the caution and has been able to hold on to that top spot for the last 12 laps.
Some great racing here. There's a 21 McKenna Bell.
And you see just on the left side of your screen that 7 of Michael McGuire. Again, he restarted 28th and already trying to make his way up into the top 15.
See the 34 of Kinsey Rustin following the 21 of McKenna Bell. There's Brandon Jones in the 33 car. Ooh, got a slow car. Cole Custer, the 00, very, very slow in the middle of 3 and 4.
Preston Peltier had to go way high, almost up to the wall to avoid. Looks like issues with that 00 of Cole Custer. Down to the apron he will go.
Cole's one of the guys, one of the 11 drivers making the first ever start here in the K&N series. Flat left rear tire.
And so he will go to the attention of his crew on pit road, and we stay green. Kwasniewski still in front of Moffitt. Now a good battle for position. Ryan Gifford holding on to fourth. Here comes Ben Kennedy, though.
Great side-by-side battle. I'd say Ryan Gifford probably one of the more experienced drivers in this field. This may be his 4th full season, again, driving this year for Rev Racing.
And Phil, surprisingly enough, second, his best finish. He's done it twice, but most recently that was back in Dover of 2009.
Yeah, he's been looking to get to victory lane, hasn't quite gotten there. We really thought that was just a limited schedule back in 2009, driving for Team Dillon Racing. Had a couple runner-up finishes and hasn't got back yet.
Able to stay out in front of Ben Kennedy, again coming up on some of the slower lap traffic.
See Jesse Little, the 97, out in front of Ryan Gifford. Jesse having a good run.
Little holding on to that 3rd spot as Dylan Kwasniewski continues to lead here at Bristol.
The Gray Gaulding in the tire tracks of the 4 of Ortiz. See the 39 of CJ Faison behind Gray Gaulding.
Gray Gaulding impressing every time he comes out onto a racetrack. Again, just 15 years old, and already has turned the heads of quite a few of the Cup owners.
Thought I saw a little smoke out of the 20 of Gray Gaulding down there in 1 and 2. Could have been some speed zorb left on the racetrack, but I thought I saw a little bit of smoke. Don't see it this time.
Yeah,
though.
that time by it looks clean as he continues to chase after the 4 of Brian Ortiz.
Just about to complete 50 laps. Remember, we're going to have a break at about lap 70 for these guys to make some adjustments. Again, the only adjustments as we see Ben Kennedy pull to the inside of Ryan Gifford will be adjustments that you can make on a normal pit stop. You will not be able to change tires.
Yeah, and they can't actually even take tires off. If they want to pull the rubber out of one of the springs in the back, they have to leave the tires on and be able to get to one of those spring rubbers with the tire on.
Yeah, great side-by-side action here. Ben Kennedy trying to get by that 2 of Ryan Gifford. Ben's trying to make it the hard way on the inside of the racetrack. You see Jesse Little right in front of this side-by-side battle.
They stay door to door as they go across the stripe. Ryan Gifford and Ben Kennedy fighting for that 4th spot. Gifford has it, the preferred lineup above, but Ben Kennedy giving a great fight on the bottom of the racetrack.
And I think what's important right now is Ben Kennedy would love to be able to get that spot, which means that he would be able to restart on the outside. And right now, the 2 of Ryan Gifford, he's trying to hold that spot.
So Ben Kennedy on the bottom of the racetrack, Ryan Gifford on the top of the track. Let's go back to Derek and find out more about Ben Kennedy.
Well, in the last couple of seasons, we've really seen Ben Kennedy start to come into his own. He's gone from being an also-ran to a contender. He finished 6th in this race last year. He picked up his first pole last year. And this season, he'll make 3 starts in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driving for Turner Scott Motorsports.
You know, we talked about how impressive Bowman Gray is as far as if you can do well there. That's where he has his career best finish.
Yeah, he did a great job there. And I was talking to Ben in the media center earlier before the race, and really excited about moving to the K&N, I'm sorry, to the Camping World Truck Series to get his feet wet a little bit this year.
There's Michael McGuire. We talked about him leading early. He had the pole. He's already been able to fight his way back up to 16th after restarting 28th. So looking to break back into the top 15.
Yeah, still a long way to go here on the racetrack. Oh, trouble on the racetrack. McKenna Bell, the 21, is around.
A lot of damage to the front of that race car. A little bit of damage to the back. Doesn't look like anyone got into the back of that 21, but a lot of damage to the front. Left front tire down also for McKenna Bell.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the right front tire may be down. It looks like that corner of the car is pretty low as well. As you mentioned, definitely left front tire down.
So the caution comes out once again. That means we'll restack this lineup 2 by 2. We talked about how important it is to start on the outside here at Bristol.
Yeah, we've seen the leader pick the outside every single start and restart.
Dylan Kwasniewski out in front of the field here at Bristol. We'll come back for the green flag. Kwasniewski and Moffitt side by side as they come out of turn number 4. We're getting the green flag for the drive for COPD 125. Kwasniewski with a good start on that high line. Moffitt trying to hold on to second. Here comes the 2. Ryan Gifford trying to take second away.
Ryan Gifford trying to take advantage of that outside on the restart. Not able to get up to the outside of Moffitt, though.
Jesse Little in the 97. Holding on to a top 5 spot.
That car is raced out of the Coulter Motorsports stable. Coulter Motorsports, longtime competitors in the ARCA Racing Series.
Brian Ortiz holding on to 4th. Jesse Little 5th after the restart.
Yeah, Jesse had a great finish to the 2012 season, ended up with a pair of top fives the last 2 races of the year.
Another one of the young drivers, up-and-coming drivers. His father actually has just been promoted to the Camping World Truck Series Director.
Yeah, it's going to be good to work with Chad this year, and he will have all those Camping World Truck Series races right here on Speed. Ooh, 3 wide.
3 wide, and I don't know if the 90 wanted it to be 3 wide. Martin Waugh in the 90 was split by Brandon Jones on the outside.
You see, Brandon has a little bit of damage right side and left side. You see that left front tire rubbing now after that contact.
Yeah, and the hood buckling up on that 33, so have to keep our eye on the 33 of Brandon Jones.
There's Justin Boston, the 25 car. That's a Venturini Motorsports car, the first time that they've run in the series.
Preston Peltier in the 10 to the bottom of the racetrack, getting by that 33. Dylan Kwasniewski, once again, after the green flag dropped, has been able to put some space between he and Brett Moffitt.
Yeah, we're probably about 5 laps away from the mid-race break. Dylan Kwasniewski doesn't look like he needs to make too many adjustments to that 98 car.
Very few, and there's a driver that I'm sure will want to have another restart, maybe have a chance at getting some more positions. That's Michael McGuire. Got into the back of the 77 of Austin Self. Self stays straight, and now McGuire goes to the high side trying to take the position away.
Boy, just about squeezed Michael McGuire into the outside wall. You see all the damage that left front tire is rubbing on his car.
And the halftime break or mid-race break can't come soon enough for some of these drivers, as they'll have to pull a little sheet metal away from these tires.
You see a little bit of damage on Self's car, the 77. There's Boston, the 25, going around.
Take another look at what happened.
McGuire had committed to the bottom of the racetrack, and the 77 Self was going to try to go around Stephen Lejean. They make contact, and as Self tries to straighten the car out, he slides up the racetrack a little bit, just about pinched McGuire into the outside wall.
McGuire, a little bit of a tough race here at Bristol, as he had the lead to start off this race after winning the pole, and then got bumped by the 0 of Enrique Contreras. Got turned around and had to restart 28th, so he's been fighting his way back now into the top 15.
He's going to need this midway race break. It's going to be a huge break for him. You see the damage in the left front tire rubbing. We're just a lap or so away from the caution flag being displayed for the break.
So Michael McGuire continuing to try to take away positions as he's made it into the top 15. He's running 15th, but a lot of tire smoke coming out of that 7.
Just needs to nurse it around here for another lap or so till we get that caution flag. There's Austin Hill. As the caution flag comes out, Austin Hill in the 13 car.
So Dylan Kwasniewski is your race leader at the mid-race break. They will all come on to pit road. Again, as you mentioned, they can't change tires. They can do anything else that they would normally do on a pit stop. They just can't take the tires off.
See, Brett Moffitt, the 11 car, continues to run in the 2nd spot. Brett Moffitt, our all-time, or at least our active leader in laps led, with over 1,500 laps led in the series.
He's had a very impressive series. 9 wins in this K&N Pro Series East.
See the free pass car going by. That's Cordamanche in the 49 car.
So Dylan Kwasniewski will lead the field onto pit road. They use both sides here at Bristol.
They will make sure that all the cars get stopped before they will allow them to start working on the cars. Then the red flag will be displayed.
Be a short break. We'll have the opportunity to talk to a few different drivers. Derek Pernisiglia will be down there on pit road to get the stories that are taking place. Again, the biggest story so far has been Michael McGuire, after starting on the pole, gets bumped when the caution comes out, turns him around. He's not able to maintain cautious pace, has to restart 28th, but has made a valiant effort breaking back into the top 15.
And that's right, him right at the bottom of your screen right there.
So as we mentioned, Derek Pernisiglia has an opportunity to talk to some drivers. Let's hear him with our race leader.
Well, when we talked at the top of the show, Dylan Kwasniewski said, "I'm going for the win." How good is your car?
It's pretty good right now. We definitely we got to concentrate on tire management, definitely. But you know, this Rockstar World Purple Chevy is awesome, and I mean, I think the key is to stay out in the lead and get a comfortable pace of what we like. And you know, thanks to Turtle Scott Motorsports for giving me this car. But you know, hopefully the second half we can keep it where we want to and get that win.
How much pressure do you think you're getting from Brett Moffitt?
I think he's putting on a little bit of pressure, but you know, I'm trying to keep a decent pace away from him and save my tires at the same time. So you know, I think we got a good car, and it'll be interesting at the end of the race. But you know, I'm excited for it.
Well, Dylan Kwasniewski is the champion in the West Series, and he hopes to have the same success in the East Series.
And I know you'll be surprised by this, but Dylan Kwasniewski has quite a hairdo. I hope we get an opportunity to let you see that. It's hard for him to get a helmet on, I believe, with the way he makes his hair look.
Great start here for the 2013 season for Dylan Kwasniewski here in the East.
We'll find out if he can hold on and get the win from Bristol when we come back to Green Flag. Back out. And there you have it. Our producer Alan Dietz, a great job getting the hair of Dylan Kwasniewski. He's out in front. He's got Brent Moffitt on the inside as we get ready for the restart. Just past the mid-race break. And Dylan Kwasniewski on the outside is going to grab the lead once again. Here comes Ortiz in the 4, trying to get by Brent Moffitt for second.
Ortiz trying to take advantage of that outside position, not able to do it. Moffitt able to slide up in front of him.
So Moffitt holding on to second. Ortiz is third. Just behind him, Ryan Gifford in fourth.
See Ben Kennedy right now running in the 5th spot in the 96 car.
Field working the way back by the start-finish line on lap 74 of 125 laps. Kwasniewski with a 3-car length lead over Moffitt, and issues for the 47 of Cale Conley.
Yeah, this was one of our strongest competitors last year. Got to victory lane in that 47 car, and having a tough day today.
Dylan Kwasniewski still out in front. And Michael McGuire making his way by the 5 of Stephen Lejeune.
McGuire still a long way to go here to try to get back to battle for this lead. Who ran into the apron, got a little bit sideways.
See, McGuire, one of the few that's able to make that lower line work here at Bristol, but now we've passed the halfway point as we see Ben Kennedy also trying to make the bottom line work as he gets by Ryan Gifford.
Trying to get by Ryan Gifford anyway. Faison right now would love for Ryan Gifford to get the advantage on the outside, and he'd follow him by Ben Kennedy.
Ben Kennedy gets the nose out just in front of Ryan Gifford as they continue to battle side by side.
Ben got a little bit loose at the entrance of 3 there. You see him fighting that wheel off the corner. Stays dead even with Gifford.
Quite a few laps these two have been battling for position. Kennedy has half the car in front of Gifford now, still can't clear him and try to get up to that higher line. He goes way up the racetrack now. Gifford almost up into the light gray stuff here at Bristol.
Yeah, Ben tried to drive in the corner, tried to beat Gifford into the corner, wasn't able to clear him, slid up the racetrack.
Still door to door. Ben Kennedy on the inside, Gifford on the outside, and right behind him.
So Kennedy sideways. They make contact.
Around goes Kennedy.
Kennedy got in the corner real hard, got loose, got into Gifford, and Faison ran in the back of him.
And the caution will come out. The 5th caution of the day at Bristol. Ben Kennedy running in the top 5 gets sideways as he's battling with Ryan Gifford.
You see him get that 96 car refired. He's going to stay on the lead lap but lose all that track position.
And is he upset? Do tempers start to get the best of these drivers?
Watch, he's going to drive in this corner really hard. He's not able to keep down on the bottom. He gets a little bit loose right there. Then he makes a little contact, and that seizes him up. Faison with nowhere to go just runs in the back of Kennedy, and around he goes.
Gifford did a great job of saving that 2. Kennedy did get into the left rear quarter panel of that 2, and Gifford able to keep it straight. So the caution out once again. Dylan Kwasniewski, I'm pretty sure he'll choose the outside line on the restart. Brent Moffitt running second.
These caution flags have been a break for Michael McGuire. We saw him go by just a moment ago. He's continuing to make his march back up towards the front.
Trying to break into the top 10. That was the goal that he had told Derek Pernisiglo earlier, that he wanted to get a top 10 finish here at Bristol. Field all in line once again. Pace car will make its way onto pit road. Dylan Kwasniewski, Brent Moffitt, 1 and 2 coming out of turn 4. Green flag back in the air.
Another great restart by Kwasniewski. Moffitt able to tuck in right behind. Side-by-side battle for 3rd.
Gifford has the advantage on the high side, but a little contact there between him and Ortiz. Brian Ortiz in the 4.
And remember, those 2 guys are teammates at Rev Racing. You see Greg Gaulding now to the outside. Ooh, Ortiz didn't give him any room.
Ortiz shut the door on that high line as Greg Gaulding was trying to get by, and now CJ facing problems with the 18. He goes around, a lot of contact. Sam Hunt.
A lot of damage to that 18 car of Sam Hunt. See Denny Hamlin Foundation, the sponsor on that car. Wow. See, his best finish last season was a 7th.
The hood of that race car ripped back over the windshield for Sam Hunt. You see the window net coming down, a great sign, letting the safety crew know that he's all right.
Yeah, tough break for Sam Hunt. There's a damaged car of Contreras. That was from the early incident when he ran into the back of the 7 of McGuire under caution.
So the caution comes out once again. That'll put them side by side for the restart. Kwasniewski and Moffitt, 1 and 2 here at Bristol. 6 cautions have slowed the pace just a bit here. Dylan Kwasniewski on the high line. Brett Moffitt down below him in row number 1. Gifford and Ortiz making up row number 2. The outside line has been the preferred line here, Phil.
Yeah, Kwasniewski has been flawless on these restarts. Always gets at least a car length advantage. Moffitt, a pretty good start for himself right here. Let's see what he can do with Kwasniewski down in 1 and 2.
Best start for Brett Moffitt on the inside. He's door to door with the leader, but can't hold on. Kwasniewski forges ahead, takes the lead once again.
Yeah, what a great run up off of turn number 2 for Kwasniewski. You see him side by side for 5th, or Greg Galding on the outside of Faison.
A little bit deeper in the field, we see a good battle here between the 41 of Ben Rhodes and Lejean in that 5 who's on the high line.
There's longtime East competitor Eddie McDonald in the 71 car. Eddie has 6 career wins in the series. There's Kinsey Rust in the 34 car doing a nice job.
Ben Kennedy in that 96 battling back, was running in the top 5. And our race leader Dylan Kwasniewski putting 2 car lengths between himself and Brett Moffitt here at Bristol.
There's a battle for 5th right there. Greg Galding, the 20 has 5th. Faison, the 39 right now running 6th. You know, Greg Galding a little bit loose there.
You know, Faison has the best finish at Dover, which is 7th, and also a concrete racetrack. Seems to run well on concrete.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. We see that a lot even in the Cup Series, Nationwide Truck Series. The guys that run well at one of these places, the concrete place, they run well at the other one as well.
And right now he is battling, trying to get into the top 5 here, just outside in 6th.
We haven't talked a whole lot about Jimmy Weller, the 31 car. Jimmy's right there behind him. Ooh, trouble.
And
Austin
trouble.
Dine.
Back behind them, the 99 of Austin Dine and the 10 of Preston Peltier.
See a little bit of contact there. Not sure if the 99 was around and Preston came along with nowhere to go. Doesn't appear to be a great deal of damage on the 99 of Austin Dine. As you can see, full-time competitor last year in the K&N Pro Series West Division made the move east just like Dylan Kwasniewski did.
And we see him back under power. Let's take a look at what happened.
Check top of your screen. Looked like there was a little bit of contact. The 99 of Dine around.
And collected the 10 of Peltier. So they go up the racetrack. They call Bristol a self-cleaning track because of the high banks. It drops them all the way down to the apron. Michael McGuire again after restarting 28th, all the way up into the top 10.
Yeah, great car for Michael McGuire, and these caution flags are really working in his favor because he gets by some cars, then they have another double file restart. He's able to get by some more, and it closes him back up with the front of the field. I would say right now a top 5 would not be out of the question. I'm not sure he's got enough time to get up to Kwasniewski, though.
Only 125 laps scheduled for the Drive for COPD. NASCAR K&N Pro Series East first race of the 2013 season. On for the remaining laps here at Bristol. He's got Brett Moffitt on the inside. Moffitt had a great restart last time. Let's see if he can do it again. Green flag back in the air.
Yeah, Kwasniewski clears him before they get to the start-finish line. Moffitt jumps up behind him now. Still side by side for 3rd.
Already a car length and a half, almost 2 car lengths between Dylan Kwasniewski and Brett Moffitt as they go to 3 and 4.
You see Faison in the 39 car. He's going to try to take advantage of that outside restart position. He's side by side with Galding for 5th.
Faison's going to make it work. Galding trying to make the bottom of the racetrack go. And here comes Michael McGuire trying to break into the top 5.
They're side by side. Galding a little bit loose on the bottom. There's Eddie McDonald, the 71 right behind him. Eddie started all the way back in the 30th position, has made his way up into the top 10.
How about the number of cars that 7 of Michael McGuire has passed? Also, after winning the pole, got spun, had to restart 28th. Now he's up in the 6th spot.
We talked about it a couple times. I loved his modest goal. He just wanted to finish into the top 10. He's finished into the top 10 every start he has here in this series.
Preston Peltier in the 10, a little bit slow on the bottom of the racetrack, and drivers continue to work their way around him.
Inside of 20 laps to go now. Time to do something to try to catch Kwasniewski if anybody can.
Michael McGuire still trying to get into that top 5. He's got Greg Galding in the 20 just behind him. As you mentioned, Eddie McDonald in the 71. trailing them.
Would love to see. Ooh, caution on the racetrack.
Up into the wall, that 25. It looks as though Justin Boston, the Venturini Toyota, has issues.
Justin's going to run full-time this season in the ARCA Racing Series of Venturini Motorsports.
Z-loop on the hood of that race car, and it looks as though the right front either down or towed out right now.
Yeah, he's made some pretty significant contact with the right side into the outside wall. You see all the damage to the front and rear. Right front definitely flat.
So he'll have to take that to the attention of the crew on pit road. Once again, another restart. That means that Dylan Kwasniewski will have to hold off Brett Moffitt once again. He has been able to do that pretty efficiently up to this point.
Yeah, really, Moffitt had that one good restart a couple restarts ago. Looked like he had an opportunity, but Kwasniewski's car was so good at the exit of 2 that Moffitt couldn't do anything with him.
The 10 of Preston Peltier is going to get the free pass as we have just 14 laps of racing to go. Kwasniewski and Moffitt 1 and 2. Ortiz on the outside of Ryan Gifford, making up row number 2. Michael McGuire in the 7 on the outside of Faison in row 3. Coming out of turn number 4. Moffitt crowding that 98. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
Looked like Moffitt spun the tires a little bit.
13 laps to go from Bristol. Kwasniewski clears the 11 of Moffitt. Ortiz runs 3rd, Gifford 4th.
How about McGuire now jumps to the inside of Gifford in the battle for 4th.
McGuire on the inside, Gifford on the outside. Door to door as they go to turn 1.
There's Faison, 39 car, trying to move up to the outside of McGuire.
Things are picking up as we have just 12 laps to go. Gifford on the high side, McGuire down low, almost trading paint as they cross the stripe.
A great exit of the corner that time for McGuire, but look at Gifford fight back on the outside.
Now McGuire falls in line behind Gifford. He's got Faison all over the back bumper. Here comes Gaulding as well, and Eddie McDonald. Contact made.
Little chain reaction. The 39 of Faison got into McGuire. Ray Gaulding got into Faison.
Now Gaulding has the 71 of Eddie McDonald behind him. Little contact again. McGuire gets loose. Faison right behind him all over his back bumper.
It looked like McGuire's lost the handle here in the last few minutes.
Trying to hold on to that position. Faison all over his back bumper. Inside of 10 laps to go.
It almost looks like McGuire may have a tire going down or something.
And now C.J. Faison almost a car length behind Michael McGuire. Greg Gaulding's closing the gap. Here comes Eddie McDonald as well. Those 4 you could throw a blanket over as they cross the stripe.
Ray Gaulding peeks to the inside of Faison. Now he tucks back in up on the high side.
Michael McGuire just in front of Faison. Dylan Kwasniewski still out in front of this field. It'll be 8 laps to go when he crosses the stripe.
Comfortable lead right now for Kwasniewski. You see all the gap back to the 11 of Moffitt.
Moffitt falling off the pace. Kwasniewski setting a blistering pace. And still the battle between Faison and the 7 of Michael McGuire.
It looks like the handle has gone away on that 7-car McGuire.
Under 7 laps to go. Dylan Kwasniewski with a comfortable lead. Brett Moffitt running in the 2nd spot. Great battles in the top 5, though. Michael McGuire trying to hold on. Faison all over his back bumper, and here comes Greg Gaulding once again.
One little slip by McGuire. He could lose 2 or 3 positions right quick.
Michael McGuire holding on to 5th. Faison has the 6th spot. Gaulding running 7th.
Faison right now is just a little bit tentative to try to jump down to the inside, because if he does, Greg Gaulding will take that spot up on the outside.
We saw Gaulding try to take the low line and make it work earlier. Was pretty close to making the pass, but with just 5 laps to go, they have got to be assured of the position if they're going to hang their cars out or try to go to the low line. We saw Kwasniewski cross the stripe. Under 4 laps of racing to go from Bristol.
That's a battle for 5th right in front of them. A battle for 3rd among teammates Ortiz and Gifford.
A huge gap between Moffitt and race leader Dylan Kwasniewski. Gifford and Ortiz still battling for position. 3rd and 4th right there across the stripe.
See Gifford using the high side there. Look at the run he gets up off the corner.
This time by, it'll be 2 laps of racing to go. Dylan Kwasniewski, Brent Moffitt, Ryan Gifford, and Brian Ortiz, your top 4.
There's Greg Golding. He jumped down to the inside of C.J. Faison, was not able to make the move.
Michael McGuire still holding on to a top 5.
Oh,
up into the
Ortiz.
wall. Ortiz. That moves McGuire up into 4th. Kwasniewski is still holding on to the lead. Moffitt running 2nd. Final lap here at Bristol.
Looked like Ortiz had a right front tire go down with 2 laps to go.
Ortiz still trying to nurse that car around the racetrack. Final lap for Dylan Kwasniewski in his first start from Bristol. Can he make it back to the start-finish line? Kwasniewski's going to win at Bristol.
What an outstanding drive for our West Series champion.
Keeps the winning tradition going after claiming the championship in the West Series in 2012. Dylan Kwasniewski is going to go to victory lane in the famed Bristol Motor Speedway. Dylan Kwasniewski very familiar with how to do a burnout after he has 5 career wins in the West Series, 3 of them coming in his championship season of last year. And now he starts off 2013 in victory lane with Derek Perniciglio.
Dylan Kwasniewski picks up his first ever NASCAR K&N Pro Series East win, and he does it right here on one of the biggest stages in NASCAR at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Dylan, congratulations. How good was that high line for you tonight?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I couldn't get a better car. I mean, thanks to Turner Scott Motorsports for giving me the best car possible. I mean, this thing was just money from the start to the end. And, you know, thanks to Marty Lindley, my crew chief, for giving me the best car possible. And my sponsors, Rockstar and Royal Purple. I mean, the thing was just awesome. And this is absolutely the best way to start off the year.
Brett Moffitt was really strong in the 11. Did you get nervous when he got next to you on those restarts?
You know, I think he was putting on a little bit of pressure, but I knew I was really confident in our car, and I knew that if we kept it cool and kept the tires under us, then we would be good. So I just had to keep my composure, and that's what we did, and we got the win.
What's it like to win at Bristol?
It's awesome. This track is so much fun, and, you know, I was new coming here at the beginning, and it took me a little bit to get used to it, but, you know, we definitely got it, and, you know, this was just an awesome race, and thanks again to my sponsors and my team.
Well, he starts the season off right. The West Series champion is now your East Series points leader.
Pretty good debut for Turner Scott Motorsports here in the East Series.
Take a look at our final results. Dylan Kwasniewski, Brett Moffitt 1 and 2. Ryan Gifford, Michael McGuire all the way back up to 4th after restarting 28th after his spin.
Yeah, great top 5 career best finish for C.J. Faison. Kenzie Rushton with a nice job just outside the top 10 with an 11th place finish.
Steve Lejean back there in 15th.
See, Austin Dine had a problem. Brian Ortiz, tough break for him, 21st after running in the top 5 most of the race.
Dylan Presnell, after starting on the front row, back there in 35th. Derek.
Well, Brett Moffitt comes home with a 2nd place finish. Dylan Kwasniewski was up high all day, but why not try the high side?
We did earlier in the day, but it seemed like the last 10 laps, it just wasn't working for me. I started getting tighter and tighter, and I went back down to the bottom, and we picked up a few tenths, and we were actually catching them there the last 4 or 5 laps, but we had nothing for them. They had a great car, and congratulations to them.
Were your restarts the only chance you had to try to get the lead?
It really was, and even on that, you can't hold the bottom through 1 and 2 and have as much speed as the upper groove. So, you know, that's with clean racing. I was happy about that. You know, we raced great. It was fun, but we just had nothing for them.
Well, Brett Moffitt ran and had fun at Bristol today.
Thanks, Derek. Take a look at our top 10 in points after the first of 15 races for the K&N Pro Series East. Dylan Kwasniewski, your point leader.
Yeah, could he go back-to-back? West one year, East the next year.
How about Michael McGuire finishing 4th in this one? Let's hear from him.
Well, Michael McGuire may be one of the few independents in the field, but he definitely showed he can run with the big boys. Unfortunately, you had to go to the rear of the field, but what a drive for you today.
Yes, sir. You know, I still don't understand what happened. The caution came out, and I guess the 0 spotter didn't tell him that the caution came out, and he kept in the throttle. So it turned us around, and we had to come all the way from the rear back to 3rd or 4th place. So, you know, not too bad of a day, but, you know, it's just frustrating and disappointing. But I owe Sam Hunt an apology. I got into him and turned him, and it's just uncalled for. I really don't know why or what happened there, but that was my mistake.
The young man, it's always fun to see drivers like that, Phil, with a completely clean driver's outfit there. He doesn't have a lot of sponsors on there yet, but after the show we saw today, I'm sure there's going to be sponsors talking to that young man.
Yeah, remember, he wanted to finish up in the top 10, and he finished 4th, and he's disappointed. So it's good when you're disappointed with finishing in the top 5.
A great run for the driver of the 7, Michael McGuire, battling back to get a top 5 finish. In the end, it was the 98 of Dylan Kwasniewski who was able to get out front, stay there, and head to victory lane in Bristol.